Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew, and welcome to the Pagan Housewife. Last but by no means least, the room we are going to be discussing and addressing is going to be the bedroom. We've been working our way through the entire magical household. And the bedroom has special challenges because every bedroom, regardless of what type, does serve multiple purposes. The master bedroom requires an atmosphere both conducive to rest and romance. A little bit of a contradiction in moods there, and it's not unusual to see bedroom designs that only create one kind of atmosphere, or worse still, creates neither. Then we have family bedrooms for elderly parents or other relatives who may be living with you, and then children's rooms. When it comes to the bedrooms of elderly parents or other older relatives that sometimes live with the younger generation, the transition that they're making can be very depressing for them. They might feel like a burden, even if the rest of the family protests the very idea. And naturally, they're going through a kind of mourning because there is a loss of autonomy. They need a bedroom that is going to be comfortable, that reflects their taste and accommodates any mobility issues that they may have. And then there's the children, who are in a constant state of growth and evolution, and the needs for their rooms change as rapidly as they do. This isn't just where they sleep. They play here, dream here, do homework here, store their little treasures here, and they plot and they scheme here. The energy in this room is all over the place, and as the children get older, naturally, they want to have more of a say in how the room looks. And finally, we have guest bedrooms. Now, these are pretty tricky spaces. They need to be welcoming, they need to be serviceable, but not so comfortable that your house guest turns into a housemate. Unlike other bedrooms that ought to reflect the taste and the needs of its occupants, a guest bedroom is kind of anonymous by nature, and that presents certain challenges. So let's begin what all of these types of bedrooms have in common: the need for sleep. And we will begin with colors. Obviously, the bedroom is not a place for colors that are agitating, and how we react to color is subjective. What I find agitating may not be agitating to you, and vice versa. So, we also have that, and if we are sharing the bedroom with someone else, they're going to have their own ideas about what colors are restful and what aren't. So, being open to negotiation on this issue is wise. Whatever color scheme you choose, ideally should make you feel like the bedroom is cut off from the rest of the world. You're inside your own personal cocoon, and the occupants of that room both feel relaxed. Now, the bed. Obviously, the bed at the bedroom needs to be comfortable, and it should be of as good quality as what we can afford. Approximately a third of our lives are spent in bed, so it isn't practical to have a bed or to have pillows that don't provide us the proper support that we need. Periodically, mattresses need to be replaced. They get worn out, or maybe you just went through a divorce or you had a long-term illness, whether that was physical or a mental ailment. Our beds, they aren't just, providing a place for our bodies to rest, they're also absorbing a considerable amount of our energy. And sleeping on old energy patterns is not a good idea. And of course, if we can't replace a mattress straight away, we can perform a cleansing on it. Furniture placement. The bed is obviously the focal point of the bedroom. And once the bed is situated, I have found that the rest of the furniture, where it should go, that usually becomes pretty obvious and straightforward. Now, regarding what direction the head of the bed should be placed, we do have some lore to guide us. In the north, that is the direction of, and that is the source of magical power. And it is the view of some that this is the best direction from which to sleep. It's thought to facilitate quick recovery from illnesses, enhance stability, and even attract prosperity. Then we have the East. This direction is associated with spirituality, intelligence, and free thinking. So if you put the bed east to west, that is also following the natural course of the rising and setting of the sun and the moon. And that might help some people remain in the flow of that energy, thereby having the side effect of helping with some insomnia issues. Now, the South. It is not recommended to put the head of the bed into the south. That invites fatigue, disease, and insomnia into the home. So, if at all possible, try to avoid that particular wall. And then finally, the west. This direction is the gateway to the other world, and sleeping in that direction heightens spiritual awareness and psychic sensitivity, and it has also been known to attract romantic love. So if you are intending to do more dream work, or putting the bed to the west is absolutely ideal. This has also been known to enhance creativity, so if you're an artist, putting the bed against the west wall of the bedroom just might be useful to you. This brings us to the issue of protection. When we sleep, we are vulnerable. So, along with the usual mundane precautions we take, we can also set out magical protections, beginning with crystals. Snowflake obsidian to drive unfriendly energies away, black tourmaline to trap unwanted energies that get past the snowflake obsidian, and then a cracked quartz to amplify the effects of both. I'd have these near the bedroom door or a window if at all possible. Then we have plants. Specifically cedar. This can be incorporated through a sachet in the closet or dresser drawers or by having a piece of furniture made from cedar. If all else fails, find a block of cedar wood and use it as a doorstop. Animal totems. A wide variety of animals are considered to be protective. If there's an animal spirit that you've worked with and you're familiar with, you might consider putting a representation of that animal in your bedroom to help guard the room. Facing the door would probably be ideal. And then we have the issue of sleep promotion because we are here to sleep, and it isn't always easy to sleep. Some people suffer terribly from insomnia. One of my grandmothers did. Or people deal with anxiety that makes it harder to sleep or stay asleep. Or, your mind is running, a million miles a minute, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and your brain decides we need to review the events of the last 5 years because reasons. And then also times you might have a work schedule that's really weird, and ultimately the end result is just less sleep for you, which isn't any good. So again, we turn to our crystals. Amethyst, green jasper, moonstone are some crystals that are known to aid sleep. I would suggest putting these beneath your pillow. You can find small, tiny little crystals like that won't disturb you. And then we can go to our herbs. You might try drinking a cup of chamomile tea before bed. That's produced good results for many people. Another option is to create a sleeping pillow that's stuffed with bergamot and jasmine, lavender, rosemary, valerian, or you could create a room spray composed of the essential oils of those herbs. And then animal totems. It's not without reason that the children often sleep with teddy bears. The bear animal totem is helpful with sleep. But since many of us are a bit too old to be sleeping with bears, and if a bear figurine would be out of place in our bedrooms, perhaps we could incorporate the image of a hummingbird or swan. They are also known to aid with this. We can listen to sleep music or nature sounds or guided meditations to help us drift away. There's a wide variety available on video platforms everywhere. Some of these videos last as long as 8 and even 12 hours. Now, if you're needing a bit of extra help, and you've done all these things, but it's still you need a little extra push, you could always petition one of the deities that are associated with dreams and sleep. For goddesses, some possibilities are Isis, Luna, Persephone, and Selene. And then for gods, you might try Angus, Asclepius, and Vishnu. Now, as mentioned earlier, these different bedrooms have different requirements, so let's brainstorm how we might handle those differences. Beginning with the master bedroom, this room is as much about romance as it is sleep. The first step is to create the proper mood, and to do that, part of this is going to involve moving things that have nothing to do with romance and nothing to do with sleep and getting them out of the space, whether it's exercise equipment or a desk or any pictures of symbols that have anything whatsoever to do with things like chastity. Get it out. Move these things to a more appropriate area to the house, if at all possible. And if you keep an altar in your bedroom, which you might, because I do, and if you work with deities who are known for being single, you might want to consider moving that as well. You just don't want that energy in a bedroom that you're going to be sharing with someone else. Let's see. Next, because we are visual creatures, we can choose artwork that is both restful and romantic. We can be mindful of the texture of the bedding. Scratchy materials are not going to be conducive to romance. Neither is fabric that doesn't breathe. And obviously, this room should be kept clean and tidy. Disorder, clutter, dirty surroundings, they will not make for a restful or a romantic room. Now, if we want to add a little extra romantic energy, we can bring in a bowl of apples. Just don't let them sit too long. Or we could get a sprig of cherry blossoms, pink roses, or sprinkle the sheets with a jasmine mist, burn sandalwood incense, or keep rose quartz around. That'll all help build the atmosphere. Now, let's talk about family bedrooms specifically for relatives and older relatives who might be living with you. Now, unless your relative absolutely cannot attend to their own needs, it is advised to afford them a high degree of privacy in their personal space. To go from having your own home to living underneath someone else's roof is a blow to the self-esteem, as is the need to downsize one's belongings in such an event. Our possessions link us to our memories and the emotions that go along with them. So your relative may be hurting in more ways than one. Sensitivity, privacy, and as much autonomy as circumstances allow can go a long way to preserving the dignity of your family member. It may be helpful to hang photos that are special to your relative, family pictures, old memories, all that sort of thing. They can be comforting, and they also represent a cord that connects the person to the whole of their life. And that continuity, the visual reminders that we're a part of the tapestry of life, it's reassuring, and that can be a magic all of its own. Now, it isn't merely links to the past that are important. Vitality and continuing to live life matter a lot. Your relative may not be pagan or even necessarily pagan friendly, but most people appreciate a nice houseplant. And if it just so happens that there's rose quartz in the pot, they'll think it's just a nice decorative touch. But you'll know that the quartz is promoting a sense of well-being. If you knit or crochet, making an afghan for your relative is a kind gesture. And you can infuse every stitch with intentions of love and support. You can ensure that they continue to enjoy their hobbies and visit with their friends and sense that they have as much of a normal life and a life that is going forward, not just stuck in the past, as what is possible. It'll contribute to their well-being and can help make them more comfortable in their space. So, children's bedrooms. Granted, admittedly, I do not have children, so the following is based upon what I can recall of childhood. My room was my refuge. It was a place where my imagination ran wild. I was playing with dolls and Legos and drawing and singing and dancing and goodness knows what else. And when I got older, this was also my space where I was writing stories and poetry and listening to really ridiculous, sappy music because that's what teenagers do. But the way my room needed to function and the way it needed to look, it changed with each phase that I went through. And on top of that, I was a very messy, very disorganized child. And it was a passive aggressive messiness. My mother was and still is an absolute neat freak, and I never missed an opportunity to annoy her as a child, and that meant having as messy of a room as what she let me get away with. So, this room, because it is essentially the child's life and how they are developing as a person, obviously this is going to be more than just the furnishings, more than the decor or any little magical touches we might put in. From what I can tell and from what I remember, a child's bedroom is defined by the phrase room to grow. And this isn't so much about physical space as it is psychological space. So to help encourage all this growth, consider giving your child a citrine crystal to keep in their rooms or in their pocket. And as far as any other magical touches, I mean, just kind of be aware of what the situation is as it evolves because their needs are going to change very quickly. You will not need and you probably will not want to spend big money on this, but you can do little tiny things that help support their evolution. And that can be a good thing to do. Now, guest bedrooms. Because a guest bedroom isn't about the personality or the interests of whoever currently occupies it, finding a starting point can be tough. However, I think a good guest room gives this guest a sense of well-being. So beyond choosing pleasant furnishings, there is more we can do. We can choose gentle, warm colors to make the guest room inviting and make it relaxing. Fresh flowers add to the welcome. Carnations, lilacs, sunflowers are really good for this purpose. Or a room spray of essential oils such as lavender, rosemary, and thyme is another option. You could even incorporate crystals like carnelian and sunstone to add to the effect. And if you're expecting a guest, performing a blessing on the room before they arrive makes the atmosphere extra special. Interesting books on the nightstand is always good, as in an extra blanket on the bed in case it's a chilly night. Small little comforts make for a hospitable guest room. And of course, as we've mentioned in many videos, hospitality is an important pagan virtue. So, let me know what you think of all this. Are these ideas you've already incorporated into your spaces? Have you heard anything that you think is going to be useful to you? Do you have your own ideas? Let me know in the comments section below, or come see us at Blackbird's Brew on Discord. There is a link to join in the description box below, and we would love to have you. In the meantime, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.